Honourable Member of Calgary-Fish Creek, followed by Calgary-McKay-Nose Hill.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, yesterday we revealed that in 2 years, AHS sole-sourced $1 billion in contracts. The Premier said this was somehow all okay because it might have complied with policy. He missed the point. Gifting $1 billion in contracts is not in the best interest of taxpayers. If tendering these saved only 1%, that's an extra $100 million. That would pay for 300 hip surgeries, 300 knee surgeries, and 100 heart surgeries. It's not just about waste. It's about getting dollars to the front line. Why doesn't the government do something about it?
Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, there's a very clear policy in place. Alberta Health Services has thresholds for any contracts over $75,000 for goods and services and any contracts over $200,000 for construction contracts. Exemptions include only one supplier can provide the service and no other supplier is qualified, or an unforeseen situation of urgency that exists. The subject matter of the procurement is of a confidential privileged nature, or an RFP or other competitive process has resulted in no proposals or bids. So the point is that they manage these contracts. Hopefully they're supposed to be managing them in an appropriate way, and an Auditor General would determine whether or not.
Thank you. First supplemental.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. He walked into that one. Given that cab companies, couriers, and even Coca-Cola were all handled untendered contracts, and given all of these companies clearly have competitors that could have bid against them for deals. I personally like Pepsi. Will the Premier admit that a policy that doesn't require an attempt to get the best deal for taxpayers is a policy that clearly needs to be changed?
Mr. Speaker, it's clear from the questions and answers that happened in the House over the last few days. A number of things are clear. First of all, that there is a policy in place. Secondly of all, that the Auditor General, over the course of a number of reviews, has been reviewing that policy and has been providing advice to the Alberta Health Services with respect to what they need to do. It's also clear that the Auditor General has sampled contracts from time to time, at least one instance that I understand that took place, and has indicated that the contracts met the policy at that time. So this honourable member could go back and pick something and talk about what brand of pops she likes, but the fact of the matter is people are managing a large.
Thank you. Second final supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What's clear, Premier, is you're not following your own policy. Given that when we revealed that a former AHS VP was gifted $250,000 a consulting contract the day after she resigned, the Minister of the Health assured the House that he'd inquire with the AHS official administrator about the situation. It's a week later, and we haven't heard anything. How can Albertans believe this government has any concern for the consistent abuse of taxpayers' dollars?
Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, what Albertans can be assured of is this government clearly has at its forefront the respect for every taxpayer dollar. We operate a budget of approximately $42 billion on a day-to-day basis. That is important work. That's important work in health services. That's important work in the other jurisdictions and other aspects of government. And the Honourable Minister has indicated he will go back and have a look at that particular contract. But that is a contract that has been in place already. We are taking care of the public's dollars on a day-to-day basis. We have processes in place to make sure that there isn't waste, and we constantly strive to improve through our results.